I did play a game,
Oh, my God.
but not a new game.
That's fine.
That's fine. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's still a game. You still play
As
the
in,
game.
not a game that I haven't already talked about.
Oh.
Well, then that's a problem then.
Revisiting it after long.
It'll be about 45 seconds.
Do you want to do it before I intro the show, or should we save it until we've opened a beer?
Oh no, I'll do. We'll do the reveal. Aadil, play the game.
Build up to it.
For about 4 minutes.
Well, that's fine because we've already started now. So welcome to Tanked Up, a podcast about games and beer. I'm Ben. I'm with Lucy and Aadil. Hey.
Bonjour. No. Hola.
No,
Hola.
not bonjour.
Yeah.
Hola.
Hola. Yeah.
Who are you, Mel B? What's going on?
It's topical.
That's
You'll find out later.
All right. Okay. Nice. Nice.
Hello.
Hello. We're all here.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Was it going to lead into the barbershop? Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello,
my
bargain
girl. You gotta cover your mic so it sounds like it's gone an old school fucking.
Like one of those little things you put over the end of a trombone.
Oh, what is that called? There's no.
I don't know. I've got a clue.
A thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, a thing.
Let's crack open some
What
beers.
the fuck is that thing called? It's gonna
You
bother me.
think about
Google
it.
it.
Lucy. Lucy, what are you drinking?
I was trying not to Google it.
Drinking a Mikkeller beer.
Oh.
It's one of their pale ales.
Okay.
Oh.
And it's called Stick a Finger in the Soil.
Ah, yes.
Don't know what that means.
See
This
how
is-
warm it is.
I don't know. That's the can art. He's sticking his finger in the soil. Don't know why. There's not really any flavour text. It just speaks about the brewery. I think we know enough about Mikkeller at this point now. Nothing, it's pale ale. What's the percentage on it? It's 4.5%, so
Nice.
Oh, it's literally just called a mute.
a mute.
That makes
Yeah.
sense, I suppose.
Boring though, eh?
Yeah, slightly.
It
Still
sounded
boring.
so Canadian then.
Yeah, fair. I have no retort except, yep. Sounds about right.
Yep. Aadil, what are you drinking, sir?
Oh, was I supposed to get beers? Shit. No, I'm joking. Against kind of my better judgment, but in the pursuit of podcast variety, I picked up the Fourpure indie lager.
Okay.
And I say against my better judgment because it's not really lager weather.
Sure.
And but it's like it's been a while since I've actually had a crafty lager. So it's got plain wheat, and it is 4.4%. Serve at 8 degrees. Sure, that's what it is now. I guarantee you. Brewed with the finest malts, classic German aroma hops, and our house lager yeast, then matured at low temperatures to bring out a delicate, spicy, and lemon zest hop flavor. This is a refreshing and easy drinking craft lager with a smooth and crisp finish.
Okay.
That's a can I haven't seen from them before.
No, all right.
It's inspired by adventure.
And it's 440? Or is it-
Yeah, it's a 440, 4.4%.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen. Or I think they did a range this year.
I think
and
their
they eventually
collab
put it in
ones.
cans.
Their collab ones were in bigger cans, I think, weren't they?
I can't.
Oh, I'd
remember.
like you. It's a 500 ml.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like some of them. I can't remember what their names were, but I had them on draft earlier this year when they brought out. Yeah, it was there going around the world, wasn't the
it
collabs?
was.
Yeah, sorry.
because they had a couple more on when we were with you at the Wolf.
Yeah.
They had a couple on, yeah, that's right. I've seen whatever their or one of their new Tesco's beers, which I can't remember the name of. I think is in a bigger can as well. Where did you get that from, Anna? Was it from the bottle shop or the supermarket?
Bottle shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to see them still putting out new beers into bottle shops. It's not all just being funneled through giant supermarkets.
Yep.
Good. You guys think about those beers and taste them. I'm going to tell you what I've got. I have got from Whiplash, Body Riddle Pale Ale.
Yeah.
It's 4.5%. There's no flavour text. It doesn't really give me any info on what's in it, apart from water, barley, oats, wheat, hops, yeast. That's all they say. That is
It'll
it.
be a good surprise.
Well, but lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Their
really good.
can art's good. Yeah. All of their cans are really good. Like, they're one of my favourite breweries. Like, I think they're based in. Is it just Ireland? I think it's just
Just Ireland.
Just Ireland. Not rather than
it's a caravan.
the one with the prefix Northern on it.
Wicklow, Ireland.
Yes, Ireland. Okay. Yeah, they make really, 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 really good beers. I've got quite a few. They've got like American wheat ale, double IPAs, stouts. Everything I've had from them is top notch.
Nice.
Is that the first time you're having one of their beers? Or?
No, it's not. I think it's the first time I'm having a canned beer from them. I've had beer on draft before.
Ooh, I'm not sure if I've ever had it on draft.
I think it was a collab I had.
Right.
I don't remember. Might have been when Bottles and Books had one on. I think like when I went in to go and buy some beers, I thought I'll just have like a quick glass of this.
Yeah. Probably my average score for them on like Untapped is probably like 4.5.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. Bodes well for this beer then. Right. We'll jump back to you then, Lucy. How is yours?
Yeah, as soon as I open the can, like just pour it into the glass, getting like tons of like tropical notes, citrus, like lychee, passion fruit.
Okay.
It's a bit more understated in terms of the taste though.
Yeah.
Getting a slight bit of maltiness, a little bit of citrus, but I don't know, like you're getting a lot from the aroma and not so much from the actual taste. It's perfectly like tasty beer. Nothing offensive about it, but nothing's wowing me either. I mean, this is, they make some weird beers, Mikkeller, and this is just probably one of their staple ones. I mean, it's from like these are the ones that you find in like Marks and Spencer, so it's not going to be, the wildest, craziest, we put wild fennel in it or something like that. So it's just a standard pale ale. Unfortunately, there's not much more I can say about it.
No, is it light? Has it got any kind of bitterness to it at all?
It's
just all
not
nose
much
and.
Yeah, it's got like, it's more sweet than bitter just from like the malt, but no, it's not bitter at all. No, it's just, as I say, it's a perfectly good beer, but there's nothing, outstanding about it.
Okay, that's
not much to say.
At those, yeah.
Wonder whether that's just a part of them moving into, putting more stuff in Marks and Spencers and upping their game to be able to, service that level of want, sort of thing. So
that makes sense.
Well, it's going down well. Really enjoying it. Yeah.
Nice. Aadil, I see you flashed your glass towards the camera.
It's got a lovely, clearly lagery, but there is a little bit of a citrusy, almost lemon, sort of like smelling a lemon rather than tasting it. So a bit of the zest note in there, so it's sort of clearly a lager, but it's a nice sort of nuanced nose. Oh.
A good ooh or a bad ooh?
A good ooh, yeah. It's it's got a slight velvet to the texture, which you don't normally find.
Lagers, yeah.
So it's quite
more like
smooth.
crisp. Yeah.
And yeah, that sort of, again, less citrusy, more as the like zest, the crispness that comes along with zest is in there. It's very, very smooth. It's very enjoyable. It leaves a sort of a lightness to the taste. So a slight bitterness on the finish, but it's a lager, so it's not too strong. But what I really like is, most lagers you get that nuttiness.
Yeah.
That's almost not there.
Okay.
I think that's contributing a lot to the smoothness of the taste. It's just very sort of the initial hit of the taste that and the crispness you get from a lager. It sort of sits there and then continues, and nothing's interfering with that in a way that's not normal. It's really quite good. So I mean, I was hesitant on lagers, but this, I think, having going to house parties or whatever and just having the lager of choice. Maybe has this is a good reminder that lagers can have depth, and that the generic sort of quintessential lager taste isn't as poor as maybe most of the examples you bump into random places.
They get a bad rep just because there's so many
shit ones.
Yes, for want of a better word. What's the carbonation like? Is it?
So when I poured it, it was the head into like a finger and a half, but it's actually quite low. I've even sort of poured the last 150 mils kind of thing in, and it didn't really regrow the head. It's all. I think that maybe that's also contributing to that more smooth texture, is the fact that it's not super bubbly.
Yeah, like as you said, Lucy, you don't have that quite crispness to it, perhaps.
But the taste is giving crispness. So it's actually, now that you've mentioned it, I didn't notice just how, for a lager, it's kind of flat. Again, not for a beer, but for a lager, it's kind of flat. But because there's that zesty and that crispness in the taste, I didn't immediately notice that it's just not that effervescent.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You do find that with craft lagers are more smooth and easy drinking. It's not like like tons of carbonation, all that gaslight, and the less so well produced ones, not naming any names, but they're quite soft is the word that I'm trying to get across.
I mean, it's still a lager you could bash through like 4 in a row easily.
I went out last night and had some food with Kim. And we got to the restaurant, we weren't eating yet. I thought, I'll have a beer. That'd be nice to start off with rather than jumping straight to the wine. And they had pretty standard, just bottled beers on the menu. But I went for a Staropramen, which I haven't seen for a little while. Sort of, one of the branded beers that I kind of went to more so than kind of any of the other ones, really. And I had it last night, and it just didn't hit the spot whatsoever. As you said, it was really soft, and I kind of just had this doesn't give me what I want from a lager. Really, it's not. It's just kind of like lost on me now. It's gone, and I don't really fancy it again. Whereas I think it's one of those. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna have a cheap lager, Staropramen will be okay, right? And this one is just like, nah, mate, not doing it for me at all. Unlike Whiplash, Body Riddle, which you can see I've already drank about a good third of.
Right.
It's going back super easy. A lot of kind of tropical fruits and a little bit of citrus on the nose. When you taste it, those fruits and that citrus kick in straight away, but it mellows out to this lovely kind of piney flavour, and it's got this nice, very middling kind of bitterness to it as well. I mean, this sits really well with the way it kind of moves between nice fruity start, a bigger kind of bodied piney middle, to then finish off on this nice bitterness. And it's it's a little dry, not too dry. I'm going back to it more because I want to have more of that flavour than actually because I need to go back to it to quench the palate kind of thing. So I mean, first impressions, this is fucking fantastic.
Yay! That makes me happy. Yeah.
Excellent. It does.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. 4.5%. So it's only a nice
Same as
little
mine.
beer.
Yeah, I don't think I've had any Whiplash beers on the podcast that I can remember. It's probably because I drink them all before we actually.
You're like, I've got this one now, just drink it now.
Yeah. It's like they don't last long because they're so good.
Yeah. Nice. Well, now we've basically built up to Aadil's game so much from the start of the show.
So I'm assuming you're keeping that shit in then.
Can let you launch straight into it.
Yeah, so it's not a big thing. Between house hunting and teaching and trying to continue work on the dissertation, I've had less space for games than usual, and obviously usually I don't have space for games. But I was waiting for the pod to start, couldn't really justify work. Started packing stuff up in the house, have to move soon. Figured I would do the same sort of maintenance on the PC and updates and whatnot. And it turns out last time I turned it on, I was doing that with the Magic the Gathering arena game, and so I ran the update while I was waiting for things to go on. I played a quick round, and it's the same game. They've changed some of the icons. And I mean, because it's the open beta, it's also like I was just like, I'll use. I mean, I have no cards anymore, and so I had one deck. I played a game. Guy was raping me, and then he wasn't. Life game's great. He quit before I could kill him, and I was like, cool. I played a game. And then I was like, all the updates in the background are done. I guess I'm going to go do laundry. And that's my gaming of the week.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes that's exactly what you need from a game.
Yep.
Just a slight distraction for 5-10 minutes, then move on to the next menial task.
In and out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was also listening to the Hello from the Magic Tavern podcast, which was nice flavor. I don't know if you're familiar with it. The premise is, dude in Chicago was behind the Burger King and accidentally drove through a portal to the magical land of Foon. And he had his podcasting gear in the trunk. And so sits in the Vermilion Minotaur with his two new friends, Chunt, the shapeshifter, who's currently in the shape of a badger. And the only way he can change shape is if he has sex with something. Then he'll change into their shape.
Nice.
But he's a badger for most of the series anyway, that I've got to. And then Usador the Wizard, who does the very Gandalf-y thing where he's got different names for different things. So every episode he has like his introduction is like a good 40 seconds long. And they just do an interview podcast with various comedians and improvisers pretending to be imps, flowers, flying pigs. Nice. And it's a good half-hour podcast to like kill on your commute or whatever, because there's no continuity really.
I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, anyway, it's nice flavor while playing a fantasy game that doesn't have any plot, because then you're hearing stuff about whatever. But yeah, anyway.
That's called Behind the Magic Tavern?
Hello from the Magic Tavern.
It sounds like a children's program.
I mean, it's decidedly not. I mean, so they do lovely things with like making jokes and references to Earth while pretending they don't. So like Chunt takes all his dates to make out Point, where it's a dangerous place, and if you make it out, then you can consummate. So he just loses girlfriends to make out Point. It's a nice little riff on make out Point, because it's just the wordplay, stuff like that.
If you're in the know, I'm sure it sounds very appealing. I'm still lost.
It's alright. One to check out when you know you need some more podcasts.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about listening to it from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They also had a few episodes called where a guy brought in a game called Offices and Bosses, which is the Land of Foon's version of Dungeons and Dragons, and it's just shitty lives here. It's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's gaming for me this week.
Nice.
Mostly it's the game of, has the house that I'm interested in already been rented yet?
Which probably is a yes.
Yup.
It's always the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's jump to... Lucy, how many games have you played this week? Have you played lots of games? You've got lots of new games to talk about?
I think I played 2. Yes.
Okay.
Unless I'm forgetting something. I'm sure Ben will remind me of what I played later.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'll start off with Iconoclasts.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah!
Nice.
I believe it came out on PS Plus this month? Or was it last month?
Yeah, this month.
Yes, and it came out earlier this year on Vita and PlayStation, maybe?
I think it was Steam. I mean, it must have been everything apart from Switch, I think.
It's not on Xbox.
Is it not?
That's par for the course, really.
It's a January launch, I think, like right at the start of this year.
Yeah, but I think around September it came to Switch, and then I picked it up. And then I was like, because I've been playing Wonder Song like over the last 8 weeks or something. It's ridiculous. Because I'll talk about Wonder Song when I actually finish it, probably sometime next year. But that game is so charming and enjoyable, but I just don't think it's fun to play.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah.
The gameplay is disappointing?
Yeah, it's like you just want to go through the story and see the story, but you obviously got like the gameplay because it's a game. It's like I'm not enjoying that as much. I mean, there are clever puzzles and the way it uses like the sound wheel mechanic. It does that in interesting ways, but it's just being like, okay, It's not. I don't know how to describe it. It's just I prefer like the story and the characters and the dialogue. Prefer that much more over the gameplay, and it's like
I've definitely played games like that.
Yeah, it's still a great game, and I really want to finish it. But
a lot of JRPGs end up falling in that category for me, just because of like the gameplay might be okay in the beginning, but by the time you sort of get near the third act of the game, you're like,
yeah, and it's like it always uses like it uses the mechanics like in special ways to make things more fresh now and then, but just the actual central mechanic is for me not as fun as it could be.
Sure.
But yes, I just wanted to move on to something else because I just found like myself saying like not even picking up the Switch because it's like I've got Wonder Song to play and I really want to finish it. I didn't want to move on to anything else, but I finally did, and it's Iconoclast, which is a 2D Metroidvania narrative platformer, I guess. All the words. Is
it first person as well?
Nah. Side scrolling.
Action
2D.
stealth.
Pixel art.
Are there first person Metroidvania games?
Yeah.
Is that a thing that could happen?
Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a Metroid game. Is it a Metroidvania game?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never played it.
Yeah. Neither have I. But anyway, I'm sure there are more. Like there's definitely got to be.
Hey, tweet us at tankedup_cast for your first person blah 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 blah. There, look, I did a thing. I'll stop interrupting.
No, it's fine. One of the best third-person Metroidvania games is Batman Arkham Asylum.
Yes, definitely.
The best in the series for me.
Yep. I never got all those question marks.
Nobody does. The Riddler trophies. You have to be insane to do that. Nobody does that.
Well, that's actually why I never finished the game. It's because I was like, fucking.
Yeah, I want to do everything, so I just won't finish.
Yep. Hey, it's like you're in my head. Fuck, oh god, this is the worst realization. That's also why I'm not finishing my dissertation. I didn't need this, Ben. This is my escapism.
I'm glad.
Ground my mental problems in other arenas.
I'm glad Batman could help you, but obviously not.
Whilst Aadil's having his existential crisis, Iconoclasts. I really enjoy the art style. It's like 16-bit art style. It reminds me a lot of Owlboy in so many, like, assets of it, like the art style, the dialogue boxes, even like the font in the dialogue boxes. This kind of, mute central character in this one. This one, she's called Robin, little blonde anime-looking girl. And, just like hero's journey, like you start from nothing and you become like the savior of the universe. The thing that I didn't like about it was the story, and I know that a lot of people, a lot of critics have been like, the story is like so interesting because it touches on like religious themes and like, concepts of, the class system and, all this heady political, religious kind of context and stuff, but it just didn't interest me. It's like, I think there's like literally 5 hours worth of cutscenes in that game, and after about an hour, I was just skipping it all. Like, I just didn't care about the story, which is a shame because it's made by like one dude, which is incredible to say the least. Because you know, just from surface level, it's very polished like experience, but you know, he's obviously thought about this story. It means a lot to him. He's you know, created this whole universe, this whole lore kind of thing where I don't even want to try and explain the story because I didn't understand it from the beginning. But it's and there's too many long words, like, you know, I don't know, exsanguination, penance, procreation. There's so much going on. I was like, I don't care. I'm not even going to attempt to explain the story. Basically, you're on a hero's journey, like every story, like every cliched story. But in terms of the gameplay, I really enjoyed it. The central main mechanic is you're a mechanic and you have a wrench, and with this wrench you can...
The mechanic.
Yes. Just realised that. You have a wrench and...
Like, stalled on the Discord. You stopped so cleanly.
Did I?
Like, yeah, you're just like...
Just shut like that cat.
Sorry,
But,
a mechanic.
A mechanic of a mechanic. And you have a wrench. You can use it for melee attacks. You can use it for traversal, like swinging from bolts, etc., etc. That's cool. And you also have like weapons, guns that you can shoot, and you know, different guns do different things. Like, you know, one's a grenade launcher, one's like a normal pistol. I won't spoil what a later one does. But yeah, it keeps the gameplay fresh enough, and you know, it's about, I think I finished in 10 hours. Sure, it'd be much longer if I didn't skip all the cutscenes.
Yeah.
Sounds like it could be 15 hours.
Something like that, yeah. But there was just a little bits of this game that were slightly off for me.
Okay.
Like, I think it does so much, especially from being made from like one person. It does so many different things, like in terms of like, you know, the kind of like worlds that you're going through, the different environments, the different biomes, the different, you know, bosses that you encounter, the enemy designs and everything like that. Like, there's so many like different boss battles that are really all, you know, they're really good. But just from that point, it's you're always sometimes unsure of what you have to do, and it takes a few times doing it to understand it. Sometimes it's a bit... It's not obtuse when you actually know how to do it, but it doesn't explain it to you that well. And it's like, okay, you're introducing a new mechanic, but you haven't really told me what to do, or how's this introduced. Like, it does on a few of them, but like, it's not, you know, obviously you don't want to be, you know, have your hand held throughout the whole experience, but when something new pops up and it's like, okay, I have this awesome, this, you know, this move set. I know one of these things has to do that, but it's not always obvious, and sometimes you have to chain things together, and it doesn't explain that to you. Okay. Which is, yeah, it's kind of a bugbear, but overall, like, the gameplay's, it's really fun. The controls are tight. You know, you can always tell a good or bad platformer just from, you know, the first few seconds of playing it, and this one plays very well. So, yeah, I enjoyed the experience. It's not one I'm gonna remember. I think I preferred Owlboy to this because it did more interesting things with its mechanics, and like this one, you basically meet characters on the way, and they basically morph into like Robin, the central character, and it says like party at the top. But it's like you can't switch between the characters. Only at it's only like.
See, that was one of the things I was going to ask. Like, a lot of the I don't know whether it's the key art that I've seen when I downloaded it on the PlayStation Store. Is Robin, I guess, with a wrench like thrusting forwards, and then loads of other like female characters all kind of like stacked up behind her. And I wondered whether that kind of leads it, whether it's just other characters you meet, or whether that actually leads into it, whether it is like Owlboy, whether you can change between different like skins to do different abilities and stuff.
No, unfortunately it doesn't. It's like you can only Because I was like, am I just pressing the wrong button? Do I need to go into the control scheme, have a look? It's like, no, you can't switch between characters.
Right.
It's only, you know, in certain set pieces where the game actually allows you to do it. And it's like, well, there's no point putting party at the top there. It's like, this person can just be like, oh, meet me later in the next cutscene. But yeah, so that was a bit disappointing. But, you know, I can see why people were enamored with this game. It just didn't resonate with me as much as I would have liked, but considering this is made by one person, it's just nuts. You know, just like a complete labor of love. It's the music's fantastic, the art style's great. The little bits of dialogue that I read seemed okay, but it's an overall really good package. You know, but
nice. We get a lot of, well, I say a lot of. We seem to be getting more kind of Metroidvanias that are made by, you know, a single person or a small team these days. It seems to be kind of like the genre that, with Axe and Verge, seems to be the one that lends itself to allowing someone to kind of be able to just do it themselves. And and I actually to kind of to correct myself a little bit, I actually read an article the other day saying I don't like it when people say that a game's made by one person, because there's loads of other people involved in distribution and in various companies. So of course lots of other people will have touched this game in some way, but essentially a lot of the coding and programming, everything was done by him. Was done by one person.
You can say that the product involved a lot of people.
Yes,
I can't remember what his name is. It's something like Joachim Sandberg or something like that. It incredible amount of work that I don't know how long it took to develop this. I'd imagine probably at least 4 years. But just thinking about that, it's incredible. You know, I don't know how people do that.
It'd be interesting when so last Christmas I got Blood, Sweat and Pixels from Jason Schreier.
Yes.
Which goes into kind of backstories on a lot of games. And it spoke about Stardew Valley, and I can't remember the fella's name at all now. It's just I had it and it's gone from my mind as soon as I went to recall it. But how he took, you know, it's a massive labour of love, and he wasn't making any money. His partner supported him through like, the development of it and stuff. And it'd be really interesting to kind of get a book where they've gone to all of these like almost solo practitioners and charted kind of, you know, their journey and how they make a game. And, you know, is there a forum for these kind of people to go to share tips and
cry,
convey? Well, essentially just like I fixed a bug and it's ruined fucking everything, you know, for people to be able to share their kind of like their knowledge and stuff. So, you know, with more of these games and with kind of a lot more people getting into coding and it being a little bit like more accessible now, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more, you know, solo projects.
Yeah, I mean, this year we had Return of the Obra Dinn from Lucas Pope, and oh gosh, what's the Donut County dude called? I had it.
Ben Esposito.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. It's
but again,
those
it's the same as Grace Bruckner with Frog Detective game, The Haunted Island. You know, there are other people involved in other capacities. So you know, people do music and various other things. So like, people need to kind of lean into their skill, and when they need kind of, you know, someone to come along and do something else,
that's
pay for them to do it, and you know.
Yeah, that's what I found so surprising about the Obra Dinn, because that's got like some of the best music for me this year. And the fact that Lucas Pope did it, I was like, how are you so multi-talented? I can't do anything. Why did you get off?
Lucy, bastards.
Well,
yeah.
Did you play anything this week?
I have. I've played. I played 3 games, but I've only kind of dabbled in them for, you know, I don't think I played more than an hour in any of them, really. Probably only like 30 minutes in each of them, to be fair. So I've not got a huge amount to say about any of them, really. But I suppose the one I can really breeze over is Energy Cycle Edge, which
the puzzle game.
Is a puzzle game. Yeah, I had no idea what it was.
You know, what's weird about their games is like every time I see like the thumbnails or the key art for those games, you think it's something completely different.
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
Massively.
And it's like, hold on, it's just this not match-free puzzle game or something, similar to. But just,
Well, so essentially it's a grid. I mean, it is a grid. You're not shown the grid, but you have various orbs in a 2D plane. You're looking at them, and they're all different colours. And what you need to do is match them all to the same colour. And if you click on an orb, the line that it's in, every single orb in that line will change colour. So you need to work out. So if you've got sort of like 2 lines of orbs and then 2 lines this way, so like 5 orbs on each line. If you click that central orb on this line, that will change all of those colours. If you were then to click the second orb down, the one that crosses into 2 different lines, it will change all of those orbs on those 2 lines. So you need to work out the series of different clicks to make them all the same colour. And I've only played, I think, the first 2 or 3 levels because I really wasn't in the mood for it. It doesn't start off particularly easy. It's not here's 6 orbs on a grid just to get you to understand what's going on. And it doesn't really tell you how to do stuff either. There's not much explanation about it. It's quite limited in its presentation. The menu was a bit kind of like, ooh, this is a bit icky. And a bit difficult to kind of understand. Like, how do I get back? And it told me down the bottom on the screen how I got back to the main menu, but I wasn't like drawn to that. It was kind of just like down here, and I'm looking at completely different places on the screen. I mean, it's definitely kind of one of those puzzle games that I think if I was in the right mood, I'd really get into it, and I'd spend a couple of hours with it easy.
I hate those kinds of puzzles.
I don't know what kind of mood I need to be in to do that. You know?
I hate those kinds of puzzles. Like any puzzle game, it's like, you can click one thing, it turns the other, or the dials. Like, I can't stand those puzzles.
Did you ever play Kami?
Yes, I like Kami.
Papercraft one?
I actually like that. I like the sounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got like the meditative mindfulness ASMR aesthetic in the sense of like just really calming, and like even when you fuck up and you like reset the map, it undoes all the color moves you've done by like paper noises, so it's all like even when you're like,
that's nice.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just like, you don't feel that like, I fucked up the puzzle, I have to go again, because the whole like with the minor soundtrack and all the moves, it's just like, I'll just do this again.
And I spoke about Kami 2 on the podcast. Was it
you did
last year or 2 years? Yeah. God knows, but it always gives you a counter for like the minimum number of moves you can do it in. So it's like, usually it's like, I don't know, maximum 7, or like average like 3 moves you can do it in. So you know that if you mess up and you just reload very quickly, it's not like I'm going through several different, like, in terms of energy cycle, it's not like you're clicking like tens of times, like trying to solve this puzzle. It's like you can do it in 3. So yeah, I like Kami. That's a good. Thank you for reminding me of that. Very good game.
I haven't finished it, and I left it installed on my laptop because
I think the second one's even better.
Yeah, of course, because I'm me, I haven't even thought about it. I haven't finished the first one, even though of all types of games, this would be the type that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that I played a third game as well.
Okay. I was just going to touch quickly on one of the other games I played, again, for maybe 20 minutes. I was just having a quick look at the developer, because I believe it's, again, a very, very small team, if not one person. So I'm just trying to Google it. I think they've only got this game out, which is called Project Warlock, which is a first-person shooter, very much in the kind of like aesthetic style, and I mean like complete style and gameplay and stuff, as like the original Doom or Wolfenstein or Return to Castle Wolfenstein, that kind of thing. And it's hard. It's so fucking hard you start off with like an axe or a little knife and this staff that shoots a really weak kind of projectile, and demons just come at you pretty thick and fast. Obviously, you're making your way through this kind of maze type level, trying to open different doors, trying to get keys to open different doors, and finding weapons. And there's little secret areas. It's very much in the vein of those kind of like original FPS games. So it hits the right notes for me. But I just haven't had any time to be able to play it yet.
What's the name of this game?
Project Warlock.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was their first game.
No. So yeah, this one's Project Warlock. It's the developer's called Buckshot Games, but I can't find on their website like an about section to know if it's by one person. But I think it is. No, it's not. It's not one person. There's a few different people. It looks like there's about 7 or so people.
Very small team.
So it's a small team. Yeah. It released on GOG. I think like September sort of time. And because I kind of signed up to like a newsletter about it, I got an email from like their PR person basically saying this game's coming out on Steam this week. So I think it's just come out on Steam. So I managed to get a code for the Steam version of it. So thank you to those guys for that. But I just haven't had the time again to be able to put into it yet. And it's one that I think once I get into it, and once I'm past kind of like the first sort of set of levels, it will be like, right, yeah, just fully invested in this now to run through and kind of churn my way through. I think it's meant to be quite a difficult kind of experience. I must have died even on the first kind of part a couple of times, and then when you move to the second level, I got to this point where suddenly found a pistol. Like, yes, a pistol, brilliant.
Thank God.
Still takes a couple of shots to take down like a minor kind of enemy, whereas your axe swing will take them down in one. You've just got a really long kind of cooldown on that axe swing. Suddenly I went up this lift, little pistol equipped, and these 2 big knights with giant shields came towards me, and I just sort of died pretty fucking quickly. So I'm like, right, I'll put it down. I need to do some work now. That's kind of it for me for at least a few days. So I shall get back to it.
I was thinking of playing the original Doom since it's 25 years old now.
Yeah.
I should do that now that you've talked about Project Warlock.
Be interesting to go back to Doom.
I want that to
see
original.
How it's how Project Warlock kind of comes up against it, how it's kind of modernised the genre perhaps to have a direct comparison. But it kind of feels, at least from my memory, very similar. So who knows?
Sure,
it could be completely different.
No, I'm sure it is. Like, there's a, there is difference between like just copying, and there's very slight difference between having an inspiration of. A lot of games toe the line between that, so yeah, it'd be interesting to contrast and compare.
Yeah, completely. I mean, Project Warlock's got a couple of little additional stuff. You've got like you can use magic. I think the only spell I've got is just to throw a light up, which I don't really know what it does, but I can throw a light up in my hand.
You need some.
Can you see better?
Run around hacking.
That is a very strange movement you just made there.
Yeah.
This is the movement I do. This is my job. This is all I do all the time.
Lumberjack.
In the dark, yeah.
Yeah, you got the beard for it.
That's it. I did shave it all off, and I'm very disappointed that I'm like, it's too short now.
I was going to say it does seem shorter. I mean, it's still a proper full beard. It's just not a. To be fair, you've retreated from hipsterdom with that move.
Slightly, yes. Yeah, I've gone to slightly respectable. Should we open another beer?
Yes.
Sure thing.
Lucy, what are you drinking now?
I'm going to go for another Mikkeller.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's called Wood Will Fall Down. He's an angry guy.
Willie?
His name might be Willie. He snaps a pencil in half. He's very angry, and one of the pencils says "passion fruit," and there's a book underneath that says Berliner. So, I guess it's a Berliner Weiss.
Yeah.
With passion fruit. 4.2%. Again, no flavour text that I can see. No, it tells you barley malt, wheat malt. It doesn't say the hops. So, yeah.
We're getting a lot of that today.
Yeah.
Mm.
Never mind, eh?
That's fine. Aadil, what have you got next? Has it got information on to tell you what you're actually drinking?
Me, yes. It is the from Independent. It is the Nomad Supersonic Finger Lime Double IPA, 7.8%.
That's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
It is.
Interesting. So, it's a product of Australia,
Australia, mate.
because that's Nomad. When our friends from Stone Brewing Company in San Diego came to visit, of course we had to brew together. With the pioneers of the IPA style, we thought we'd brew a favorite of ours, Supersonic, but ramp it up with some US hops to create this West Coast style DIPA. For this edition of Supersonic, we've added Laurel, Citra, with a good dose of Aussiness with hops, and of course our signature native finger limes. The hops combine to give citrus fruit aromas and are well supported with a malty backbone, combining to make this a hoppy but balanced DIPA. What better way to celebrate our friends from San Diego than paying some tribute to the Top Guns Maverick and Goose? It is 7.8%, half a liter.
What was the brewery called?
Sure.
Nomad.
Nomad.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everybody likes Tom Cruise.
And the other guy.
Katie Holmes.
It's impossible to hate him. I actually don't mind him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what everyone says. It's like,
Everyone's like, yeah,
I
he's
think
fine.
I should hate this man, but I kind of don't mind him.
You
I don't
can't.
like him anymore,
Yeah.
but I don't mind him.
He's alright.
He's fine.
Yeah. He cares
Right.
about your TV.
Yeah. Yes, he does. He also thinks you should think in a certain way and, worship some kind of absurd.
Xenu,
But yeah.
Phaetons,
Well, you know what?
Elrond.
It sounds like the plot of
Elrond
Iconoclast. I
What a
think the
man.
plot of Iconoclast is actually might be just like the story of Scientology,
Scientology.
actually. Like,
That would be hilarious.
No, considering what I saw at the ending, damn, I wish I paid attention there. 'Cause I realise it's an allegory of Scientology.
Have you got 15 hours to put back into it?
I'll just watch on YouTube all the
Okay, yeah.
or read an
That's the
interview
way
with the
to do it.
developer. It's like, is this Scientology? Like, yeah. Yeah.
Just give him a
Caught
call.
me.
Yeah.
What do you got
So I
there,
was
Ben?
like, I was like, this isn't Christianity or Judaism or anything, it's Scientology. Should have known.
Just straight up Scientology.
I would really like to say what happens at the end of this. Well, like Scientology.
Mate, I might play it. So
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
again,
But
all time needed. somewhere.
just knowing what I know, it's like, God.
That makes me want to play it a little bit
Yeah.
more, just to see. I am drinking from Upfront Brewery. Ahab
Sorry, just
Stout.
disclosure. The only thing I know about Scientology was what was in South Park. Sorry.
The in-depth documentary that they did on Scientology. Yes, I was somewhere.
I
don't
apologise to
remember
the
where it was. Not at
Scientologists.
home. I was out. I think I was in like a hotel room, and we put the TV on, and there was this documentary on about Scientology. And it's like, well, we'll just watch this, I suppose. And it's kind of not a
Interesting
documentary. It was kind of a documentary, but it's like this panel show where someone who was like a recovering Scientology person was talking to all of these other recovering Scientology people, from properly up in the echelons of Scientology, and like a journalist who'd looked into it and had put out loads of articles about it. It was super interesting about what they'd done to kind of like discredit this journalist, and he was sat opposite the guy who had done all of that to him, and it was very much kind of this is what we were doing at the time. I'm not with Scientology anymore, so I can kind of talk about this now. Like, fuck,
Yeah.
hell. But anyway,
That's crazy.
That's for a different
Speaking
podcast, I
of
suppose.
religion, there's this game, not called Far Cry 5, Church in the Darkness. That's coming out soon enough. Looks interesting.
Yeah.
I know I've followed development for like years now, but it'll be interesting to like. I know not a lot of games actually touch on religion for obvious
No.
reasons. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Definitely. Nice.
Mm.
Apart from those like Super Jesus games. Who
Is that on
Christian
the back?
kids play.
Is that the back
That-
page of Steam or something?
So
Super Jesus.
that's where they revealed Jesus.
64.
John?
That's it.
Super Jesus 64. That's the name of our new game.
Like Metroid Prime, Jesus Edition. It's just him walking around shooting lightning out of his hands or something. I don't know what Jesus' powers were. I don't remember.
He could
I
turn
believe
water into
Water
wine.
into
He's
wine.
amazing. Yeah,
he
not
could
have lightning
replicate
powers?
fish.
he'd be like the richest person. If that was the case.
Well, they didn't say it was good wine.
True.
Awful, really thin,
Like fucking
shit
boxed
wine. He didn't
Oh,
cook
I
any of
want
the fish
this.
either. Just like,
No.
here's a fish.
Yeah.
Still alive, like wriggling in your hands.
Yeah.
Fuck, what am I meant to do with this fish? Upfront brewery, slightly religious. Ahab, no, not religious.
Captain
Is it way on
Ahab.
the front, perhaps?
Is that Moby Dick?
No, it's not. I think it's an upturned car in the sea and a man kind of clinging on to the top of it, actually.
I really like that art style.
Oh,
It's nice. It's nice.
I made a mic. I was
It
leading him.
has a very small amount of flavour text. A complex, deep and rich fusion of dark malts with the fruity hop finish of American stout, roasted chocolate and coffee notes, balanced, smooth and rich. 6%. I wonder whether my thoughts on this will be that it's balanced, smooth and rich now I've read that.
Grapefruit.
In everything. Grapefruit in everything.
No.
Whilst I taste this, Lucy, back to you for your Mikkeller. Your second
Yeah.
Mikkeller.
As I picked it up, I was like, you know what? Why am I even drinking this? Because I'm not in the mood for a Berliner of ice.
Yep.
And then just smelling it, I was like, oh. Because we are in the depths of winter now.
Sure.
And, it's probably stout weather.
Stout
Like, as
season.
you're doing, yeah. I think you've had like 8 stouts on the last 2 podcasts. But just smell it, I was like, oh, you get that puckering, nose tingling, like sourness. But drinking it, it doesn't blow your head off, which is good in terms of the sourness.
Okay.
I was really surprised because the head's gone down now. As you can see, it's like straw coloured. It's very clear, translucent almost. But it had like 3 fingers worth of head, which you don't usually get with sours. Usually the head just dissipates like straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one lingered quite a long time, and it's pretty much set me up for what I should expect. I didn't expect it, despite the smell. I didn't expect it to be too sour, especially considering like, yes, this is in a supermarket. Yes, we want introduce people to beers. It's not going to be the most sour beer. 'Cause people just aren't. It even took us a while to settle into that.
It did, yeah.
And it's not too sour at all. You're getting like a lot of lemon and lime and like sherbet like kind of flavors, but it's not overpoweringly sour. Getting quite a lot of creaminess in like in the body and the flavor and the taste, and it's like one of those kind of beers that I don't know. It's not like a blow your head off sour, but it's one that just perks you up, wakes you up. Just like if you were on a night out or something, had a few beers, you drink this just to wake you up.
Okay.
Like just sniffing nose talk or something. But it's not too in your face. It's not overpowering. It toes that line just in the middle where, oh yes, we can still categorize this as a sour. But it's not so in your face and offensive with its
I think
tart.
that's kind of whether Berliner Weiss as a style is a little bit lighter, but I think I always find with the Berliner Weiss it is slightly softer. It's not quite as kind of mouth puckering as as a sour or something. So
Yeah, you're getting that creaminess on the finish, so it's not like just completely cut tartness at the end. So it lets that like those citrusy and lime notes just linger slightly.
Yeah.
It like tapers off slowly rather than just bam, sourness at the end. So
Nice.
it's nice. So I'm still not in the mood for a sour, but I'm glad I picked this one. I'm glad I picked this. So yeah, it's good.
Fair.
Yeah.
Good. Aadil, how about you?
Look how red it is. It's like an orangey red.
Ooh.
That was kind of surprising. Reasonable amount of head. You definitely get that sort of sweet finger lime on the nose.
What is a
really
finger
lovely
lime?
beer.
Is it a lime shaped like a finger?
I think it's a small lime.
Okay.
I think it's not like a super sweet lime, like a key lime, but at least that's what this nose is giving. You're totally wrong.
It's actually a lemon.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those weird fruit nights where
Oh wow!
Like not a lime.
something else. Yeah.
So the biggest surprise is how small the finish is.
Okay.
The initial taste, I'm getting, well, one, I can't tell it's 7.8%. It's a little sweet. I'm getting that, like, definitely a sweet lime sort of taste.
Yeah.
It's a little dry, and there's definitely some hops going on that sort of gives some bitterness. It's definitely mostly citrus flavor. And there is a slight sort of biscuity maltness on the finish. It's just not there in the taste, but both that sort of limey and biscuitiness just disappear really quickly. Leaves a little wet. It's very, very drinkable, and because there's like nothing in the finish, I think this 7.8% will go down right quick.
Yeah.
It's really quite tasty. I like that the liminess isn't like a fruit bomb sort of thing. It's it's well sort of tailored into the beer. It
Isn't just fruit forward and fruit for just fruit's sake.
Yeah, it's basically like, oh, what if this was mostly a slightly sweet taste in an IPA. I'm still kind of shocked at how small the finish is. I was expecting a longer one with a 7.8 in a DIPA, and it's just like, oh, this is gone now.
Okay.
Time for something.
Maybe that'll change as I drink the beer, but given that I had another beer before, but I'm actually quite worried about this just getting slammed back because it's
Do it.
That's it. It wants you to just keep drinking, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's like, drink this and then buy another one.
Don't disobey the
very
beer.
drinkable.
Do what the beer tells you.
Follow the
Come
beer.
here,
Yes.
Aadil.
That's actually all I need to say. It's just very citrusy. Like it's doing the things I think it said. I don't remember the flavor text. I do like that there is a maltiness to balance, but I'm surprised that between the two that they just sort of fade. Not super problematic. But surprising.
Yeah. Well, good start.
Okay, so Ahab from Upfront Brewing. Obviously, getting a lot of the chocolate, getting roasted coffee on there as well. That kind of sits as the basis for it. There is on the nose this slight sweetness to it, and when you taste it, I know it said like fruity hops in the flavor text, but I'm always getting kind of like a blueberry from it.
Okay.
Whether it's whether it's just blueberries or it's kind of a kind of a berry sweetness to it.
Yeah.
Which works quite well with the chocolate. That merges quite well together. Against the kind of the slightly more coffee kind of notes. It's not sure whether the coffee is giving it what it should be, or is the right kind of thing to kind of back up the chocolate and the and that kind of fruitiness to it, that slight sweetness to it. Like it kind of, all of that flavour stays with you throughout. The sweetness and sort of like those roasted notes and stuff. But it's kind of just a bit the difference between that sweetness and then that kind of quite deep, quite kind of slightly smoky roasted kind of coffee that it has to it, I think is a bit. I think jarring's a bit too hard of a word for it, but it doesn't quite sit together as well as my palate, I guess, can kind of deal with.
Yeah.
So it's nice. I mean, it's a nice beer. I'm maybe not going back to it quite as much as I think the dryness in it would like me to. I'm kind of holding off very slightly because whilst it dries my mouth out quite a lot, the flavour sticks around quite well. But I think I have to get through the rest of this just to see kind of whether that's whether there's some of that little bit of bitterness kicking back off of the Whiplash still, or whether that is that just this difference between those flavours that aren't quite sitting together. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, you saying blueberry reminded me of the Northern Monk Patrons Project beer.
Yeah.
3.04 Blueberry and Mosaic Black IPA, which I
yes.
absolutely loved.
Yeah.
I've just seen on Untapped. I gave it 5 stars twice.
Twice, nice.
Drank on Tanked Up episode 101.
I was gonna say, I know you had it on the episode. Yeah, I
So
remember.
that was like late last year or early this
Well,
year.
I think we're quite good this year. We've done one every week, I think, almost. So
Yeah.
what are we up to now? 45? 46?
No, we're
Yeah,
past
somewhere
45.
around then. Well, yeah, mid to
45.
late 40s.
Yeah, it was. I know that.
So
well,
yeah, maybe end of
100
February, something
was-
like that.
No, because 100 was when I was.
Oh, it was Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So it was like
So
late
101
December.
Must have been beginning of. Must have been the first week back
January
in
or
January.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good beer. It just depresses me with the fact that I said, "Oh, this is no longer in production by the." It's like, God damn it. Yeah.
Well,
So
talking about good beers and previous Game of the Year chats, before we move on to games, next week will be our Game of the Year chat. We might sneak in beers if we can remember what our favourite beers
Oh,
of
you
the
mean
year
beer of the year?
Beer of the Year.
I remember mine.
Fuck, I don't think I could do that.
No, I don't think I remember. It's going to be an Untapped kind of.
And I
like,
don't use
Yes.
I don't use Untapped, so I would have to listen to every
listen
episode.
to every episode.
What did I still talk about? I'm just gonna say right now, my beer of the year is
Carling.
flip a coin. It's this one. Nay.
Yeah.
Yeah, by law, mine has to be a stout, an imperial stout. So I remember which one. Yeah.
Nice. So let's move back on to games. Lucy,
Mm.
you thought of a new game. I think you've only spoken about Iconoclast so far.
Yes.
They've got 2 more.
Yeah, but the first one I'm just gonna briefly gloss over because I've not put too much time into it. It's called Desert Child. Shout out to the publisher who provided me a code for it on Switch.
So it's about Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker.
Kinda.
Shmi Skywalker.
It's set in space
that'd
and
be-
you ride a
Big
Tauntaun.
prequel.
Is that what the bike's
Land
called?
Speeder.
Land
Tauntauns
Speeder, yes.
are in the winter. Hoth.
Hoth.
Fuck.
Yes,
Just, no, I said it. Don't tweet at us. I'm sorry. I'm the worst.
the land speeder. Yeah, so it's basically Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically an arcade side-scrolling racer where you're on this bike.
Not a pod.
I think it hovers above the ground, so I'd call it a pod bike.
Pod bike. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's call it a pod racer, just for fun.
You're on a pod racer.
Yeah.
It's basically set in this like
Tatooine.
futuristic. this, this futuristic. I don't know if you'd call it noir. It's quite colourful. It's like neo-futuristic kind of aesthetic to it. It's also a pixel art.
Are you sure it's futuristic? Could it maybe have been set a long time ago? A galaxy far, far away.
God,
Sorry.
I hate Star Wars nerds. Everyone.
Okay. Okay, so you're in this Neo past.
Yes, you're in this. Yeah, Neo past that kind of looks like the 80s. So yeah, you're absolutely. And the main mechanic is you are doing these races. You're basically having to manage like doing races and still like lead a normal life. Like you get hungry, your bike needs repairing.
Cool.
And the very start of the game. Yes, the very start of the game, it just throws you in. Like you're on the street. It's like you can only do so many things. You can either race, you can eat ramen. Ramen looks pretty good. Or you can get your bike repaired, and those are the only like 3 things you can do. And it's like you're basically trying to get to. I think you're trying to get to the moon. Buy a ticket to get to the moon, and then you do so many races. You can pick money up whilst you're in the races. You basically. Usually, well, I've only played a few, but usually just racing against one other like NPC. I think there's a 2-player mode as well, which is cool. I've been playing it solo. Hey, God.
I just enjoyed this shitty parade of jokes that are just derailing you.
How could I not? So I basically accrued enough money to go to, I believe, the moon, and it's just opened up completely. It's like, now you can.
Oh man, I was resisting like a motherfucking, and you just did it anyway.
I'm just gonna stop recording. Press stop. Oh, Lord. Yeah.
If we keep making these jokes, then I think there might be a war between us, the stars of this podcast.
Oh no! Oh no!
Sorry, continue.
Please continue after that one.
It's just getting worse. Where was I? I don't even know.
You've made it to
you're
the
playing
moon.
by yourself.
Yeah, I made it to the moon. Yeah, it's really opened up in the fact like, there's so many different places there's different places you can eat, there's different mechanics who do better rates for fixing your bike. There's like this back alley like bar where you can like race somebody and throw the race, like, they fix boxing match so you can do that. You can
like
deliver pizza. You can went straight in my head that one.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll stop. I mean, I'll try to stop. But
there's no stopping you. You can like deliver pizzas, anything to earn more money, and I'm sure like it's going to open up some more like different like perks and for your bike and different abilities and stuff like that. I'm really early, so I don't want to give too much, away, because I'm probably speaking about it from like an uneducated point of view, but especially because it just completely opened up, it was quite overwhelming. It's like, how am I meant to do this? How am I meant to do bike upgrades? I'm going to get lost around this city and everything like that. I'm going to get back to it, but hopefully I can give a more rounded opinion on it, like in a few weeks' time, once I dive a bit more. But it's got a really cool like aesthetic and kind of feel to it. The music's cool. I think it's made by someone called Oscar Britton. I think it might be one other solo project, but yeah, it seems promising from the start. But I'll probably speak about it more in the future once I play a bit more.
This is it. It's now the time to we'll have our Game of the Year episode out next week. But it's kind of that period of time where not much is going to be releasing now, so we get to catch up on all of those games that we.
So many games released December, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they have seemed
speak
to,
about later. Yeah, it's like, come on, man! It's like I'm trying to get the games finished. This is why I'm just trying, because I thought Iconoclast might hit the top because it's a Metroidvania. So. That's just music to my ears.
That's it. You've got to kind of, now we're trying to fit in games, aren't we? Like, this seems like it's aimed at me. I should play it to know whether it's going to be one of the best games of this year. And it's like,
just not going to get time.
Not worry about it.
Yeah, and that's why we don't have any rules. My top game is the game from 2017. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing that gets lost in these things. I think it should be the best games you play this year.
Yeah.
Everyone has backlog problems, some more than others, and I think that's fine, right? Like, if
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
played
of
the
course.
game, you liked it.
Because like,
Why do people look at these lists to find out about cool, interesting, neat games?
yes, I agree. Because I was listening to Game Informer and they were saying like, they do a top 50? And I was like, should we do like games that are ongoing stuff? And
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's absolutely brilliant idea, because like Siege, if you're recommending someone who's picking up the bag, oh, I pick up Game Informer once a year. I want to know what the best games are. I'm like a casual gamer. Don't really play games that much. Don't follow games media or press or anything. I want to know what the best games are to play.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't pick up Siege back in 2014 or wherever the hell that game came out.
Solid game.
Yeah, exactly. So
Which, through all of their additional content, just seems to be getting better.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like legitimately, one of the best games I've played this year is Shadow of the Colossus. Like,
yeah.
it's not going to be on my list, but it's like people will be like, "Oh no, it's a remake, a remaster." It's like, yeah, but it's a damn good game.
Fucking is. It's a really good game, and
I can see why
it's
people
definitely one of
are-
those that it's kind of, where do you sort of like draw the line? Should it just be open to absolutely everything? Should you then only open it to saying, well, this game came out on this platform this year, so I can include it? Or, this is an ongoing game that is constantly being updated, and it's very different this year to how it was last year. So, in essence, it's a completely
This was
different
in
kind of
early
experience.
access,
Yeah,
and-
exactly. Like, where do you kind of draw the line? So, like, really, for us to sort of say, it can be fucking any game you've played this year. That is the rule. You have to have played it this year, I suppose.
Yeah.
For it to count towards your top games of this year. I mean,
or at least
think-
after we recorded last year.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, when you are in media like this, anything that you encountered since the last top list seems fair. So if
Yeah,
it's the last
absolutely.
week of, whatever.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
We don't
why,
have any rules.
We're all, and we all know that all three of us, Overwatch, Destiny 2, and God, I don't know enough about modern games what the number 3 would be on a stupid list. But fuck that up.
Call of Duty Black
Ops
Ops
4.
4.
Yeah. That's
Great game.
Yeah, Battlefield
Number
7,
one.
5, 12, whatever it is.
It's V, actually.
All right, yeah.
V for
Right.
very
V for
stupid naming.
vagina.
Oh, you went there.
Um,
You know,
We might
every
have an
time someone
episode
says
called that, in
GG in a game, they're secret saying Gamergate. It's code.
That's it. That's what it is.
Oh my
Not
God.
good game. Never
No.
good game. Always Gamergate.
That's depressing, because you're probably right.
Well, fucking hell. I'm going to talk about another game. I'm going to move us on.
Shit, there's another game?
There is. I picked up Thronebreaker, which is
Gwent.
well, it's
Everybody knows what
it's
that
a,
is.
it's a Witcher game. I think it's called Thronebreaker, a Witcher tale, a Witcher story, perhaps. And it is a story that isn't. You're not playing Geralt. You play as Maeve, who is a queen of Lyria and Rivia. One of the areas within the world. Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
none
he's
of you
Geralt of-
actually give a shit
No,
about.
because Geralt of
It is Geralt of Rivia, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And I assume that he
So she's
turns up.
queen.
I assume he turns up at some point. I've seen him in the art style that this game is, adopts. But I've only played through the tutorial. So again, I've only had maybe
Early
30,
days.
40 minutes with it. But it is it's currently on 20% off on GOG. So it's a game that I think came out in September on PC or October in PC, and then came out at the beginning of December on console. Not Switch though, because no CD Projekt Red game ever comes out on Switch. But
surprises me.
It's well, yeah. I think
Yeah,
they're just-
put Gwent out on Switch. I'm sure
I
everybody
did.
would
That was
buy it.
kind of like the one thing I thought. Is Gwent on Switch? Surely Gwent is on Switch, but I don't think it is.
You mean Witcher is not on Switch running at 60 frames per second?
No, of
And why?
course, of course.
Why? There's no excuse.
Do it. So Thronebreakers, it is kind of like a mix of two different like central mechanics. So you're moving around this big map in an isometric view as Maeve, basically going through your kingdom, cleaning up kind of the mess that's been made after you've been out of the kingdom for a few months. You know, you've just returned, and there's bandits around, there's monsters that have come in. So you go around collecting resources and different things to then battle everything in a Gwent style game. So it kind of mixes up that like isometric RPG kind of overworld game, and then you know, a card battle system essentially. And I kind of thought, well, you know, Mutant Year Zero is you know is featuring in my top games of the year, definitely.
Oh, wow,
and it was a
okay.
game which you know, kind of merged a couple of different styles, two styles of games that I really enjoy. So I thought, well, you know, people have said good things about Thronebreaker. I should jump in and see if this can kind of, you know, if it is one of these games that I should be playing, that I should be recommending to people as kind of something that mixes up two different styles of games. But so far, only based on that 40 minutes, if you don't give a shit about like card battling games, then this probably isn't the game for you. You know, if you if you like that kind of like free roaming exploration type game, then, you know, play Mutant Year Zero, play Thronebreaker. But the kicker in that is, like, if you're familiar with XCOM and you like that kind of turn-based strategic kind of combat, squad combat versus a card game, you're probably going to go more towards Mutant Year Zero than you are towards like Thronebreaker. And I mean, it's super interesting that CD Projekt Red have made this game.
Yeah. Did Gwent ever come out?
Yeah, so Gwent is out. It actually only came out of, I think, beta only a couple of months ago.
It's just crazy to me that Gwent just came out, and
I mean,
Well,
it
but
must
that's
have been
just
around.
games don't
must have
get
been around
released
for a year.
properly.
yeah, but it never came out properly, and
No,
then
I
they
mean,
just
that's-
put this out.
It's
It's
one
interesting.
of those problems with games that, you know, have those extended early access periods or open betas, that you have your release, your hard release is when you let the public essentially play in an open beta. That's when people are talking about it. You then may go, we're out of beta now, here's the final product, and everyone goes, oh,
But
well,
there was
we
like
played it
no
once, whatever.
fanfare over like Thronebreaker. And it's like CD
No,
CD
there
Projekt
wasn't.
Red are like riding a wave of like, you know,
Fanboys,
Good press.
mate. Get all the fanboys in. People who love Gwent, people who love The Witcher, they'll pick it up. I love The
It's
Witcher, I
like-
picked it up.
But
you
it's
know,
weird that you
Witcher,
wouldn't
and
tell
then people like that. What is it? Cyberpunk? Is that what it's
Yeah.
called? That gameplay looks so underwhelming to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I'm gonna get hate, man.
That's a first-person Metroidvania, isn't it? I don't know.
I just thought it looked. Yeah, this looks cool. I
it
didn't
does
think
look-
it was a
definitely looks
second
cool.
coming of Christ like everyone thought it was.
I mean, it looks like Deus Ex.
Yes, Deus Ex isn't second coming of Christ.
So
Nowhere
I mean,
near.
I haven't seen otherwise to say that it's not going to be. But Thronebreaker does a very good job of, as Mutant Year Zero did, of easing you in. So, you know, you move around the map a little bit. Gives you some very well animated scenes between characters. You also get to pick different narrative choices as well, which it suggested will have an effect on different things. I've yet to see what kind of those effects will be. But, you know, it's trying to bring in a lot of those RPG elements, but pairing it with this card battling combat system.
Right.
And I think I think you know, it's one of those games that Aadil, I think you'd enjoy. Lucy, I don't think you'd enjoy.
That's fair.
I'm just
No.
struggling to stay awake right now.
That's it. I said cards. I said battling. Done.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
I said The Witcher.
gone.
Just
No,
fully
I
asleep.
was genuinely curious about what this game was because I thought it was Gwent. I thought it was like a Gwent expansion.
Well, when I first heard about it,
Yeah.
I was very confused about what this game was, and it wasn't until they kind of put out a press release which basically said it's this, it's an RPG with a Gwent battling kind of system. You're like, right, okay, it'd be interesting to see how that actually works. And there's a lot of, as you're moving around the world, you go over to a pile of logs and you pick those up because you need wood to be able to do stuff, and you need gold to be able to do
Yes, you
stuff,
do.
and you need men, you need recruits to be able to do stuff, and a lot of that is creating new cards to go into your deck, and that sort of deck building kind of meta game, and this overworld. It kind of almost just seems to be there to currently. To give you some kind of narrative drive to build a deck and have some reason for building this deck, and progressing through that battling system.
Yeah.
I guess as enemies get harder and have more cards in their deck and they're able to do different things, you need to be able to build alongside that kind of like that rising difficulty, I think.
Is there any like external economy to this game where you have to buy packs or anything, or is it just all in game?
I think it's all in game.
Oh, good.
If there is a real world economy, I haven't seen it. The only thing I have seen is that within the world I'll uncover a chest, and in that chest will be a card. But I can't use that in my single player deck. That card is then used in the multiplayer.
There's multiplayer as well.
Which I don't think is Gwent. I don't think that then
So
links to your Gwent account. I think it's multiplayer within Thronebreaker.
So how different is the card mechanic-y game from Gwent? 'Cause
I can't say for certain because I haven't played
what
Gwent
you've seen,
for a
right?
while, but from the beta version of Gwent that I played, in Thronebreaker it is it's slightly pared down. In Gwent you have 3 lines, like melee, ranged, and then siege.
Yeah.
In Thronebreaker you've just got 2 lines, and you can throw people on whichever line you like. It's not like melee and ranged. I can put a ranged person on that first line, and they can only fire if their ability is that they can take damage off someone as soon as they hit the board, but they can only fire 2 lines.
Then you put
someone's
them in
on
shit
that
place.
back line, I've got to put them on my front line to be able to hit them.
Gotcha.
So there's so far it's very much handheld me through the combat encounters I've had. As I said, it was within the tutorial, so it was like, play this card because it can do this. I'm like, okay, cool. So I haven't experienced it enough for myself to know whether that combat, how that kind of stacks
Right, but it's
up.
clearly a different system, is what
It is a slightly different system, yes. It's essentially they've gone, well, we've got Gwent, let's pull it back a little bit. People aren't here to play Gwent. They want that narrative experience as well, with a slightly different kind of combat system or something slightly different to keep them going.
And for anyone who doesn't know, Gwent is the card game that was in The Witcher 3. Was it just The Witcher 3?
Just The Witcher 3, yes, yeah. And then
in-game
burst out into
card
its
game.
own, and then became its own game, essentially. Like Triple Triad from Final Fantasy. It's the same sort of thing.
I know exactly what you're on about.
Completely different card games, but, Triple Triad came out of Final Fantasy 8. So
Go Fish.
that's it. It's another card game. Snap.
Oh, I thought you were
another one.
invoking Jesus again.
Like,
He's returned!
it's like Red Dead made poker and now everybody's playing it.
Very good.
Yes.
I mean, I might talk about Thronebreaker if I get more chance to play it on a future episode. From what I've played currently, I won't be talking about it next week, probably. And I'm not sure I'm going to get that much more time now to be able to put into it to know that. But I might, I'll definitely play some more of it. I just don't know when that will be. It's not quite as compelling as as Mutant Year Zero, which is the game I'm going to compare it to because it's a very similar kind of experience.
That game looks awesome.
with very different kind of like gameplay loops and stuff, but two games trying to do something kind of similar with merging different genres and different kind of, like, loops. So currently I'd rather play Mutant Year Zero, but then I'd have to start a new game and I don't really fancy doing it.
Why would you have to start a new game?
Did you lose all your party, man? Oh, Jesus. Really?
Oh, you finished it?
How long did that take? Here's me thinking all your party members died.
Just dead.
Yeah.
Just had to restart.
That is super interesting. I didn't
16 hours.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Short.
Yeah, that's
it's not super
I had no
long.
idea.
That's how
there's
long
areas,
a game should be.
There's areas that you don't need to go to. There are, like, you turn up into one zone and this guy says, "Hey, do this for me." You don't have to do that for him.
Yeah, that's the definition of a side quest.
Yes, but it's like
What's sad is that, like, every time I think of a side quest, you just leave that NPC there and they're just still waving, like, help me.
They're coming back. Come back.
Yeah, like the world's been saved and they're just like, I still need help.
I still need those 4 chickens.
Yeah. My ham is still burned. I don't know what you'd be doing to fucking unburn a ham, but
You'd be cooking the pork man. You just exile him from your party.
Borman or whatever his name is, Borman.
Borman,
Borman, and you're like, I'm done with you. You've saved the world. Now I can cook you and give
now
you.
I can eat
NPC.
you, and I can have some nice duck pancakes as well from ducks. But it's, I mean, that side quest is interesting in that it's the only one.
There's only one side quest.
There's only one side quest.
That poor bloke, and you just ignored.
So there's one side quest, and like, fuck you.
Well, I did it.
Oh, so you did do it. So there is nothing up for you.
No, there's a couple of like little combat encounters that I haven't done because when I went through the zone, the enemies were too high level, and now I've done more.
I see.
I can go back and kind of do them. But
that's cool. That's a latecomer to your top of the
very much, and it has gone straight in as well.
That's good. Yeah, I was listening to Waypoint Radio, and Patrick Klepek was saying, it's in his top 10 now as well. It's like, good games are coming out in December.
I know.
It's okay. I'll start. I'll play it in January, and we'll see if it's in my top 10.
Probably, because it'll probably be the only game.
I mean, it's right up my alley.
It is, it definitely is. But then I think for you, like, Thronebreaker would be as well, with that like card battling mechanic. I think the difference is that, I mean, you don't have to be invested in The Witcher to play Thronebreaker. Like, it is just part of the world, and currently they've not alluded to or brought in anything that you would have experienced in The Witcher so far, apart from the names of places. That's it. But I think Mutant Year Zero being its own kind of entity, unless you are familiar with the tabletop RPG, which I'm not, it's kind of like a new IP essentially for me. Whereas Thronebreaker has a little bit, for me, has a little bit of baggage to it. So I'm kind of playing it in the vein that I'm like, oh, when's Geralt going to turn up? What little things have we got in here that I can kind of take a little bit more lore from and stuff. So
do you think the story in Thronebreaker stands up if you don't know Witcher?
I mean, I don't know. Having only played 40 minutes or something of it, I don't know yet. I'm kind of, it's a little bit, so far, it's a little bit, not throwaway, but it's kind of a bit like, okay, that's fine. You know,
like
it's
flimsy?
not quite as slightly
typical
flimsy.
fantasy.
Not quite as compelling as maybe Mutant Year Zero, which is like, you know nothing. You're like, whoa, okay, whoa, okay, whoa, okay. Yeah. So, yeah. It's fine.
Might grow on you the more you play.
Might do.
So, do you have a clue on which thrones you're supposed to break?
All of them.
Not yet.
That's interesting. I'm assuming it's just a toilet destruction game.
That's it. That's what it turns into, like 30 minutes in, 40 minutes in. It just kicks to a completely different game. And it's just in a first-person baseball bat wielding toilet smashing simulator.
No,
I was thinking of breaking.
You're like, they only have squeeze
Oh,
me, and I need
throwing cards in the toilet man until it fills it up and it's all useless. So let's move on to Lucy. You had another game.
Yes, my
to
final
discuss.
game. My final and my favourite, called GRIS.
Oh, okay.
J-R-I-S.
G-R-I-S.
J-G-R.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
So it's not a game based on the John Travolta film.
unfortunately not. How come we don't get like a bully-style Grease game?
Oh fuck.
I'd play it there, like. Best musical ever made.
I want a face-off game, mate.
Even better.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
But to be honest, I think we've had face-off. Every game is a face-off game.
Well, almost.
No, because you don't have the integral
Every
face-off
action game.
moment.
Anything with dubs in it is a face-off game. Battlefield 1,
How to Fool Boyfriend.
that's face-off.
Face-off,
Okay.
mate.
Just making sure.
It was directed by John Woo as well.
Yes.
Hatful Boyfriend. You didn't see the end of that game where everyone
It's just where it gets
Shooting each
halfway
other.
through and the pigeon just goes, I took his face.
and starts knifing his own face.
Like,
No, no.
Okay.
Ben, I know this is only for those who view the stream, but it's not face off. It's face off.
Yeah, that's true, yes. Oh,
It's
It's the best film ever made.
completely. In fact,
I've not watched
subscribe
this
to our
in a while.
Patreon, and we're going to be doing a
Live reading.
of face off.
Live reading!
Live reading. Oh, even better.
How many beers will we
So
need
here's
for
here's
that?
the question. So
Only one.
whoever plays, whoever reads the original Nicolas Cage lines, does that mean that they would also be the reader of when the face-off transition happens and the voices are the same? Or do you stick with the actual internal character
Jeez, I
of the
don't
reading?
know.
This needs some planning.
It does
Yeah.
need some planning. But because there's three of us, I think one of us will be Nicolas Cage, one of us will be John Travolta, and then the other one will just be everybody
Everyone
else.
No, I think Nicolas Cage's psyche was actually thinking as he filmed that film should be the third voice.
Oh, so we don't actually involve the other characters, even though most of
No.
the film doesn't involve those two people talking.
No,
It'd just be line read blank.
the third
Why
person
very
can also sing Over the Rainbow.
Yeah, continuously.
Yeah.
Just in the background. Like,
Yes.
I'll play
So-
the
so
little
Green.
kid who gets shot in the opening scene.
So you can just be out. Spoilers. For what, 1993?
So last time I screened that on a movie night, which was when I lived in Canada, there was a weird temporal issue with the gravestone and the timing of the film, such that the kid didn't make sense as per his age. I can't. I'll have to dig up the screenshots. But yeah. Anyway,
I can
What,
imagine there's some very big plot holes.
He was like 18 years old.
it's something weird like that.
Born
Where
in
it's like
1851,
Yeah. Died 1993.
and he's 6.
Yeah.
I guess he was suffering from Benjamin Button disease.
That's it. It's gone
probably in a
backwards,
shared
yeah.
universe.
That's exactly right. Yes.
We were
Gris.
saying a thing. What the fuck are we
Gris.
talking about?
Grease.
Green!
Oh, Grease, right.
Grease,
You're the
yeah.
one that I love.
Yeah,
Uh.
honey. This game is sweet like honey because it's a
Okay.
very good game. It's made by Nomad Studio, Spanish developer. Published by Devolver.
Devolver, yeah.
Yeah, very distinctive Devolver and Devolver-like art style game. They just have a certain feel to all their published games. Don't know what it is. It's a puzzle platformer. Essentially, it came out yesterday, so Thursday the 30th December.
Yeah.
Very late in the. But I was really looking forward to this one. It didn't disappoint. It's about 4 hours. Finished it today.
Okay.
Sorry, how long? Yeah, Skype cut out. Or,
About 4 hours. Yeah.
Cool.
Sure. 4 hours long. It's a very. I don't want to call it simple because there's nothing simple about it. Like just the art style. I mean, if anything, the art style will draw you to it. It's this very like water-colored painting kind of
Yeah.
art style.
Very cool.
It's very sort of like tonal as well.
Yeah, the animation is just fantastic as well. You're playing as this just this female character, you know, as you can expect, platformer, left to right, right to left sometimes and stuff like that. Solving the puzzles are fairly simple, but they make you feel clever. And if you go off the beaten track, there are collectibles, and it's good how, you know, it always rewards a little bit of, you know, exploration, a little bit of discovery, just by going off the beaten path. And it cleverly, once you get that collection, it just loops you back around to like the main path.
Oh, nice.
Critical path, which is quite good. So you never like, even when you're like, am I going the right way? Which like 99% of the time, it's directed in such a well way that you know where to progress. But the times where it's like, oh, I just got this collectible, you don't have to worry about, oh, where was I going again? You're pretty much right back on the critical path as well. And there are a few collectibles that you can go through, and it does what every good game should at the end, where you can just chapter select after you finished it.
Nice.
Which is good, yeah. But yeah, it's really evocative, like the art style, the music's great. It's very emotional kind of like soundtrack. It's really, really, really good. But yeah, the puzzles are clever. You have like different, I guess the whole like mechanic of the game is you're starting, the game's called Greek in English, it means grey. So you start off with a very simple colour palette, which is mostly grey, and then you start after each chapter you get like, well, maybe in the middle of each chapter you get new abilities and you unlock new colours. So you, without spoiling much, you get a double jump, you get the ability to swim and stuff like that. So every point of the game, it starts, you know, like introducing new mechanics and building that into the puzzles, so it never gets stale. I mean, it's only 4 hours, so it's hard to get stale in that time, but it's like it never reuses an idea, and there's always new things being introduced on the way. So it does what every good puzzle game should, and just build upon the mechanics and build upon these new abilities in a smart and clever way. And the puzzles, you know, that they're clever, as I say, they make you feel smart without being too challenging. Like, I think this is a very accessible game in terms of platforming. There are a few like specific jumps, and especially to get certain collectibles you have to be more precise, but overall it's a very easy, you know, platforming experience. It's not like a precision platform.
It's not about challenging gameplay.
No, it's just about getting through this very abstract, very abstract story. It's not overtly saying what the message is, but you can kind of guess, you know, themes of it from, you know, but it's abstract enough to build your own like kind of understanding of it. Like some people might associate it with depression or death or this and that, and it's like what I read from Rami Ishmael for Vlambeer on Twitter today. He was just he just noted his thoughts of the game, and I think one of the funniest things that he said, which is absolutely true of this game, is that you can brute force emotion just by making something very, very pretty. And this game is, it's like, you know, whatever the themes are, it's like, you know, I've had a smooth ride through life. I've never suffered from depression or anything like that, but it's still emotional. It's still heavy hitting, especially towards the end. It's just from, you know, it's greater than some of its parts. The art style, the music, platforming, like the controls feel tight, and what this kind of reminds me of is like every single like part of the game, every screen. If you took a screenshot wherever you are in it, you could literally put that in a frame and put that on your wall.
Yeah,
right.
Like everything just looks like concept art, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's like I was just taking screenshots. I put it on Switch for disclosure. But yeah, I think it would be great, like playing it on a big screen. You know,
actually, I'm surprised at I'm not surprised you played.
I'm
on
never
Switch,
going to put it in the dock.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But this would be the game to do it.
But like, it does, from what I've seen, just seem like something I'd want to put on the television, right?
Yeah, it's got a great sense of scale. You know, the camera like pans in and pans out. It's like it's very up close and like claustrophobic at times, and then it pans out and it's like she looks tiny compared to these like very Monument Valley-esque like kind of like like constructions and buildings and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a really stunning game. I think it will be somewhere in the conversation next week.
I mean, probably not the only game that deals with depression and stuff.
Yes.
Did it take?
About 4 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I think I missed that. So that's something I've been as well. Might end up picking up because
I think you'd
can
really
spare 4
enjoy
hours,
it.
and it's something I've been, for most reasons, really interested in.
Yeah. I think you would definitely enjoy it. Like, I think you'd probably take a lot from it, and like, you know, in terms of its message, you know, it's like I think anyone would, not just, you know, because
not just people who've had specific pasts.
Yeah, like anyone who's a human. So not you, Ben. Yeah.
Visit all the way, mate. Makes stuff a lot easier.
Yeah, it's a stunning game.
Face value. So, fine.
Yep, stunning game. Try it out. Pick it up.
Nice. Good.
Play it.
Before we finish this week, do we just want to touch quickly on the release of the Epic Games store?
Go for it. I'll open up
Adil,
another beer just because.
Just before we started.
So I would say unveiling rather than release, but I mean, this is me being quibbly because I spend my day doing philosophy where we have to be quibbly on everything. So Epic in last week has not only said fuck it to Unreal Tournament because they don't have the resources.
Oh yes,
but so the two major press releases were we've been developing Unreal Tournament, which has been freely available in all its betas since development alpha. Now we're stopping, but you can still play this game. And also we have a store now.
Yeah.
And so Epic, basically, because all the fucking boatloads of cash they've made off of Fortnite, has realized that they now have the war chest to go against Steam. So their sales pitch is basically twofold. One is, I had these numbers on the top of my head, and now I've had 2 beers and I don't remember them. But
like
basically,
88% and 12%, something like that. The
yeah, the 88 and 12 is industry standard. GOG does it.
Yeah.
Uplay does it. Steam does it, and they're moving to like a 30-70 thing or something. Like
No, it's the other way around. 30-70 is the standard.
Oh, and they're moving to 88 and 12.
Yes.
No, they're giving more.
Yeah, but they're
Right,
taking
yeah.
12%. Yeah.
Right, you're right. Yeah. So they're only taking 12 instead of the much larger percentage. But coupled with that as well is there's like they waived the fee, the like licensing fee basically for people who use the Unreal Engine.
Oh,
so
wow,
effectively,
okay.
you're getting an extra 5% of your store profits if you make your game on Unreal. So basically, it's like most people are choosing between Unreal and Unity. We're offering everyone a better deal, but also if you use Unreal, you're getting a better deal.
Yeah.
And what I find exciting about this is because actually it's just their claims that like we don't know what we're doing, so right now we're just manually curating who gets in and who gets out. We've pledged to have some curation. So it's like Steam of a decade ago, before green light, before early access, and they're saying like, you know, we don't know what our standards are yet, but we're not committing to let anyone jump in our store. And that's actually more than, like, from a customer point of view, that's more impactful than obviously the developers getting more money, because Steam is a hellscape, but it's the big hellscape, so everyone just goes along with it.
Completely.
But it's like you can't take a Steam release seriously until you hear something else, because God knows anything can get on Steam, and it really feels like they're trying to use their war chest to say we will have some sense of quality in our games, and we're upfront with saying we don't know what that means.
Yeah,
They have said they're not going to do 18 plus like porn games. That's literally the only thing they've said.
Where are the people from Tumblr gonna?
I mean, they're already fucked. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, they're
just
definitely
go
not.
to Reddit, man. It'll be fine. I'll just go to Reddit.
Oh wow.
It makes sense that they're not going to do 18 plus games because they rely so heavily on Fortnite, and obviously everyone has to go through the Epic Games launcher on PC to play Fortnite.
But
I actually deleted the Epic Games launcher like last week. The only reason I downloaded it was for Shadow Combat.
So they've what are they giving away right now, Ben?
So that's again, sorry.
What are they giving away right now?
So currently, I don't know how long this is going to last for, but for the launch, they're giving away a free game, I think every fortnight. So at the moment, it's Subnautica.
On the 28th of December, it switches to Extreme Super Meat Boy, or whatever the latest version is.
I think it's just Super Meat Boy. I know they've got Super Meat Boy Forever on the store, but I don't think it's Super Meat Boy Forever that's going to be the free game. It's just
that's coming next year.
Which is going to be from, I think, the 28th of December.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when the switch happens. But I think it's...
I'm just murmuring to myself.
That's fine. I mean, I think that's really smart because, like, Steam... I mean, Humble gives away games on Steam quite often, and Good Old Games also gives games away every so often.
Yep.
And so it's like... immediately saying we get it that like one of the things that draw you to the platform is fucking free games.
Yeah,
just
sure.
Put that out there.
Subnautica seems a big one as well because it's been on PC for a little while, but it's only just released on PS4.
Yeah. I think everyone on their mom is Super Meat.
Yeah, Super Meat Boy, sort of everyone owns.
I don't know. Like I don't know how to feel about this. It's interesting that this could potentially be a new challenger in like big, clients. Like,
I mean, I think I've had Epic installed even when I like reformatted the PC over in the corner there. I put Epic on there and I installed no games. Like it was like I have things on this that maybe I might give a shit about, so I'll install the launcher but not really install a game. Yeah. But like right now, the landscape, if we just look at my start menu, is Steam, Good Old Games, Uplay, Origin, Epic, and Blizzard.
Yeah.
You're missing one of the best, which actually probably already does a very good, like, split, probably better than 70-30. That's itch.io.
Oh, itch.io. You're right.
The best client.
Yeah, I apologize. I have it on there.
Have they got a client?
No, they don't have a client.
They have an app. They have an app.
No, but they don't have a client for the PC. The client for the PC is just log into the website and download some shit. Yeah. As far as I know.
They've got an app. Like, an actual thingy that you install on your computer.
Okay, well, then I'm missing out on that.
It's not just all browser-based. There is an actual...
I didn't realize that.
Then I owe itch.io a thing. So I will say, of those things, itch.io, good games. I'm sorry I haven't installed your thing. I'm really bad at video games. Anyway.
Bad game.
We have Origin, piece of garbage. Sometimes gives a piece of garbage game for free.
Yep.
Uplay, pretty garbagey. I have a reasonable library because on sales and stuff, it's cheaper than the Steam version.
And they've done a lot of, like, around Christmas last year, they did a lot of free games as well, didn't they?
Yeah. So, like, I own all the fun platformy Assassin's Creed games on Uplay.
Yeah, those are decent.
India, China.
Sorry,
Assassin's Creed Asia.
Yeah.
/ Eurasia, depending.
Yeah, it's China, India, and Russia. Yeah, you're right.
They're fun. I like them.
Yeah, I like them too.
I like them more
than
most of the Assassin's Creed. Yeah. I also have Watch Dogs 1 and 2 on there, but like, it's basically did I get an Ubisoft game on Uber sale? That's why I have Uplay.
Yeah.
Then you've got Blizzard. I've got Overwatch, which I got for free. The one time I played Overwatch was on the Xbox. I got Destiny 2 for free on the Blizzard app, Battle.net. Played a little bit of it, but my internet connection hated that. Like, whatever continuity pings they have on Destiny 2 meant that even though I could play all kinds of other games, it would also always crash.
Where's the Windows 10 store?
Yeah.
I don't have that installed.
How about that beauty?
Yeah. Don't
you want to play Solitaire?
I don't. The last time I used Battle.net was to fail at playing Destiny 2.
Yeah. So essentially, like, the Epic Games Store it's not going to be like all of those other ones that you mentioned. Only have their own published games on.
So I have to put a pause on this because I haven't got to my number 2 contender. Steam is just there because it's Steam.
Yeah.
It has 1,000 plus games for my account. It's the thing. But Good Old Games has a launcher. It's,
Did I? Oh, yes,
yeah. Galaxy client.
I was going to play Full Throttle on that.
It is.
Which
it has less resources. That it takes up less resources than Steam. I have a couple hundred games on GOG. It's great.
It is. It's a lot more limited in the licenses and the games that they have on there.
I would rather a game on GOG because one of the things that GOG promises is even if you don't use their Galaxy Launcher app, you can download it DRM free from the website.
Completely. Yeah.
And that's a thing that Steam has long forgotten.
Yeah.
So, like, I would rather more things like the GOG launcher, specifically around the DRM, which is not what Epic has said.
No.
But, like, Steam is there because I've had Steam for over 10 years.
Just like your child now.
Yeah, right. But like, and I used to be really annoyed, like when it was Steam and like Uplay, Uplay, and Origin. I was like, ugh, I fucking hate these things. I wish I didn't have anything on these other things, but obviously, price points and actual exclusivity things sometimes whatever. But now that there's like 4 or 5 of them, I'm actually much more comfortable with having 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, really?
Oh,
See, I'm just like, just put it all on Steam. Just put it all on Steam.
I own GTA 5 on Rockstar for a similar reason. It got dirt cheap a year ago. So I bought GTA 5 on that. And I don't ever run that unless I have to update GTA 5. But I'm getting, because there's just so many opportunities of games that are affordable, that are interesting, I'm not attached to Steam in the same way.
Sure.
And yeah, it sucks that there's like multiple platforms, but also that's how I've been getting deals.
Yeah. I mean, if you're hunting for the best deal, then absolutely. But I'm just like, I'll wait until it's cheap enough on Steam and then I'll buy it.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is, at the very least, so if Epic with their like pro developer fees, like better fees, if they can ramp up a library, I would love to have like Steam, Epic, GOG as my main 3, rather than Steam. And so right now it's basically Steam and GOG, and other riffraff where there's like 3 games on each platform I want to play. And so I'm super interested to see if, because of the war chest from Fortnite and their very aggressive pricing regime, whether Epic can like make a dent. Because honestly, Steam is just the default for PC, and I think Valve hasn't done a good job of making Steam attractive in general. And now that we have like 4 or 5 contenders and one with a huge war chest, like at the very least, I hope Valve has to fix Steam.
That's not
even
gonna
if
happen.
Steam becomes the default.
I don't think that's going to happen. But it'll be interesting to see how big Epic Games Launcher grows, because they certainly got the money to put behind it. But I don't know how to feel about it. It's great that developers are getting more money for their games, as they should, but at the same point, it's just like, as you say, it's a very aggressive marketing strategy, and it just seems like, are they just trying to monopolize everything? And we can see what a monopoly does. It creates steam, which is as you say, not the best.
Oh, so I think
things.
they're aiming for second place.
I
I
don't.
don't think they're trying.
I think
I
they're
don't
aiming
think
for
they
top
have the
spot.
hubris of thinking that they're trying to get the top spot.
No,
don't think they-
I mean, I don't think they have the hubris. They do seem like humble people because they came from humble beginnings. Like, Fortnite was trash. It's only, you know, I think they know that they're riding the coattails of
wave.
pure luck and coincidence. And I'm sure Fortnite's a good game. Never played it.
No, I've not played it.
The art styles are abhorrent, but that's
Oh shit, that's the third game I should have said, obviously, when I was coming up with stupid games that should be in the top 3 of our like bullshit thing. How did I forget Fortnite?
Fortnite, that's the other one. The
'Cause-
popular game.
Have you
Yeah.
played it, Aadil?
I've played the actual game,
Oh, the Save the World.
the like build a thing against zombies game. I've never played the battle royale
I
game,
think
which
it's
is
called
free.
Save the World.
Whatever.
I've
I
never.
think it was just
yeah.
called Fortnite, wasn't it, when it released? I
Yeah.
think it was called Save the World when it first released, because that was the original
So,
release. for it.
fellow out of livers had bought multiple key supportive copies, and they gave me a key, and I played it originally on the PS4, and then I found out through the Epic launcher I could install it on the PC. So on the PC and never played it again.
Yeah, I've never even downloaded it. Like Pokemon Go.
No,
hopefully-
neither have
They all go away.
I think for the moment, for today, we should go away. As
Yeah.
well. My
And play
internet
some
connection on my
Fortnite.
computer is starting to crap out. quite
I really
a
need to
bit.
take a wicked yes.
Good. Let's finish on our favourite beers of the episode. We'll try and do this swiftly. So I'm going to go first because I think for me it's quite an easy one this week. The Ahab from Upfront Brewing still had that little bit of difference between it all the way through. You know, the roasted kind of coffee notes didn't really mix very well with that slightly sweeter fruitiness that I had. Whereas the Whiplash was a brilliant beer from start to finish that I absolutely smashed back because it was just good and I wanted that beer. So, I mean, it's very easy that it's the Whiplash Body Riddle for me this week. Lucy,
Preach.
how about you? 2 Mikkellers.
2 Mikkellers. The Berliner Weiss was, you know, good on a, you know, wintry day like this. You know, not too sour, smooth, not blowing your head off with sourness. But
Yeah.
for me, it's going to be the first beer that I talked about, which is cool.
Finger in the soil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stick a finger in the soil. Didn't really have much to say about it, just because it was just like standard pale ale, and to be honest,
did it
that's
well.
good enough for me. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
it did the bog standard, and it did it well. So yeah, that's my
Nice.
favourite.
Good. Aadil.
I'm gonna surprise everyone, I think, because I'm gonna say it's the indie lager from Fourpure.
Okay.
I really liked both of these beers. It was quite difficult to choose, but I think to be honest, it was just a lager which was flatter and still did the crispness of a lager and had a longer finish than it was expected. It just did what it was supposed to do in a way that was unique, novel, and satisfying. And the Nomad Supersonic was a really interesting DIPA. And to be honest, it might just come down to the fact that IPAs usually have a long finish, lagers usually have a short finish, and these two inverted it. And I think that's why I was sort of disappointed by the DIPA and impressed by the lager. It was just
Cool.
like,
Okay.
back. Yeah, no, it's solid. If you need a quick, easy lager, then you could do no wrong by going for the indie lager by Fourpure.
Nice.
You want a citrusy DIPA that doesn't have the standard DIPA like punch, then go for the Nomad.
Cool. Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
So if everyone who's listening wants to talk to us about beers or games that they've played, they can do so in lots of different ways. You can go to @tankedup_cast on Twitter and tweet us. You can email us tankedupcast@gmail.com. You can tweet me at Nova_47 or add me on PSN and Steam as well if you want to play some games with me. Aadil is the Omniarch pretty much everywhere with a little at in front of it on Twitter. Lucy is Tanked Up Lucy.
I'm not
on
anymore.
Twitter.
What?
Dun dun dun! I've turned my back on you all.
Oh no! What are you now?
I'm announcing my retirement from Tanked Up.
Fuck.
Just before
Not even
the
gonna tell
game
us
of the
best
year.
games of the year. They're just gone.
No, I just decided there should be some uniformity between everything. So I'm Juicy Loose 9 on everything. So
Okay, that makes
we
sense.
don't, yeah. So our closures can be even quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wicked. Done then. Go to outoflives.net to look at articles, read my review of Mutant Year Zero, look at other podcasts, listen to other podcasts, look at other articles and things that people have done, especially this next act, which has been getting better every week, I think. Slightly less vulgar this week.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it. There's a couple of acts on there that have been a little bit more, I suppose, a lot of visual rather than audio, like the washerwoman.
The washerwoman, I almost
was
put a
probably
producer
a lot more
note.
visual.
Yeah, I almost put a producer note warning people, and I thought, no, the point is it's a raw comedy night that, like,
Imagination.
you get what you get, and the washerwoman editing it was like, yeah, can't do much about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, you get a little bit of everything from a raw comedy night, but it's good. It's good. It's good listening when you want something different to your standard sort of like gaming or entertainment kind of podcasts.
You can also reach us on our Out of Life Facebook page, which you should like and subscribe. No, just like. I guess you just like the page.
Yeah.
On Facebook,
Yeah. Or
because
subscribe
people
to the
use
YouTube
that still.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have a YouTube channel. It's
We
a
can
thing.
see our faces and the beers.
We put the podcast on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
He says questioningly because he can't remember.
Do we? Why do we do this in video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Good. So, for another week, we've been tanked up. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao. I think I might have peaked the mic, so if you... Yeah, I definitely did. Sorry.
Bang bangs.
Yeah.
Chows.
The bang bang chows.
Yeah.